TAF Africa Global is the first and biggest private estate developer in the Gambia and present in 7 other African countries. We take pride in leading innovation in all spheres of real estate sector in the Gambia and beyond. As such, we are launching the development of the first smart and modern office and retail towers in the Gambia called TAF Twins. The TAF Twins is located in the heart of the Kanifing institutional area and 10 minutes drive away from Banjul. TAF Twins is designed to have 5 floors of office spaces ranging from 50 square meters to over 1,000 square meters with 2 elevators, central air conditioning, 24 hours electricity and water supply, with the ground floor reserved for banking, supermarket, restaurant and coffee shop. For your bookings and reservations, please call now on 376-2333 or 776-2333. Thank you.
President Barrow has, of course, urged Muslim leaders to complement government's effort in preaching peace in the country. The impact of COVID-19 pandemic is negatively affecting persons living with HIV in South Africa. And Gambia is Hello, this is Africa TV and you are watching the World Today News Bulletin. Many thanks for joining us. I am Amadou Kante and now the news in detail. Now, Muslim religious leaders within the Greater Banjul area. There's more details of that in this report.
The imams, who were led by Imam Hafiz Bey, used the opportunity to discuss their roles as public servants in communities across the country. He made highlights of some of the obstacles faced by the religious institutions they represent, asking for government assistance.
In many Jumas, imams find it difficult to have transportation, and the organization informs me to bring this forward. We also know that the government cannot pay all imams. However, some mosques should be selected and funded as imams attend any sacred occasion like marriage, naming ceremony, feasts, and all other important functions.
President Adama Barrow welcomed the Conversation Avenue, without which he said unity and development will remain as a dream.
Nothing can work without conversation. If there is no conversation, you won't understand each other. We don't have but the Gambia, so let's hold it and work for its development. One person cannot develop the Gambia. One person cannot do the work. We all have to take our stand for the development process of the Gambia, and the imams are a vital part of it. Everyone believes in the imams, and they are important in the Gambia and the world. As in every gathering, they preach for peace, and peace is what heads it all.
He encouraged the religious leaders to uphold the word of peace as the most important form of public empowerment.
Imams, if you are preaching, preach the words of God from the Quran, because these things will help in the change of society. However, with that freedom, there is a limit which we should also consider. You are preaching and it is the truth, but it can cause trouble. You need to suppress it and look at the way to better spread that message, which is very important.
Imamship as a religious institution is one of the highest authorities to command the Muslim population on how to go about their day-to-day errands. Imams give sermons at least on weekly basis and during traditional occasions such as marriage and naming ceremonies. Their meeting with the presidency is commonly demonstrated during religious occasions and on times of need for their intervention on public advocacy programs. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Hawan Jai.
President Barrow, they are meeting with religious leaders and, of course, urged them to, continue preaching for peace in the country. And from the report, next to South Africa, where the national lockdown in the country to stem the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic is resulting to negative impact on patients living with HIV. The number of AIDS patients visiting health facilities for their regular checkup have significantly dropped, leaving authorities concerned at the situation. South Africa remains one of the most affected countries by the pandemic in Africa. Let's have more details of that in this report.
Speaker Mehdi manages the Hillcrest AIDS Center Respite Unit in South Africa. 4 in 10 people live with HIV in this little town. Gamedi says she's concerned by the marked increase in admissions since the lockdown began close to 18 months ago.
We are receiving more patients that have defaulted their treatment, who are very ill because they haven't collected their treatment from the clinic. They're saying it's because of the lockdown. They're not allowing anyone to come into the clinic. They're allowing only few patients a day. So it was not easy for them to go and collect their treatment on their appointment dates.
A significant drop in HIV testing is of further worry. Fear of contracting COVID-19 and stricter lockdown periods have kept patients away. According to the United Nations, it has plummeted by at least 48% in this province alone.
So a drop in testing means there are less people aware of their HIV status. So they may have been at risk, or they may have contracted HIV but yet aren't aware. And if they aren't aware of their status, then they're not accessing treatment. They haven't initiated treatment. If they haven't initiated treatment, that means they also haven't yet achieved a reduced viral load, which means they can pass the virus on.
Low vaccination rates have also meant that most of the population here and in other parts of South Africa remain at risk. Vaccine hesitancy is also a challenge.
They are scared that they are going to die because they defaulted their treatment. They were very ill. They were not sure what's going to happen to them when they get the vaccine, because there were a lot of rumors that if you get vaccine, you're going to die, you're going to get ill.
South Africa carries the biggest HIV burden on the continent. It made significant progress in putting 70% of 7.7 million HIV-positive people on antiretroviral treatment before the COVID-19 pandemic. But these numbers may have fallen behind.
So as things stabilize, there needs to be major public health campaigns to keep promotion, the same messages that we've been giving for decades, that people get tested, they know their status, they're responsible to initiate treatment and to be adherent to their treatment. That will prevent any spike in new cases and ongoing leading to AIDS and increased deaths.
South Africa has significantly stepped up its vaccine program. Rates, however, still remain low. Less than 1% of the population has been fully vaccinated. In order to get health services and its antiretroviral program on track again, it will have to work a lot harder towards achieving herd immunity.
And from the report there in South Africa, next to Nigeria. A non-governmental organization in Nigeria has initiated a program to support human trafficking attorneys to reintegrate into the society. Human trafficking is one of the most prevalent crimes in Nigeria, with an estimated 1 million people trafficked annually, according to the United Nations. Cognizant of the causes, authorities are calling for concerted effort to combat against the illegal practice. Here's more details of that in this report.
Patricia Cletus, not her real name, was trafficked out of Nigeria in 2003. She managed to escape and return home. Since then, Patricia says she has been improving her life and even canvassing for other returnees to settle in easily.
I started learning how to sew. After learning how to sew, I now learned how to barb. So now I can barb and I can sew. So I just want to advise those ladies out there that if you are one of the victims like me, your hope is not lost. You can learn, you can also be like me.
At this center run by an NGO, the Society for the Reconciliation of Distressed Nigerians in Diaspora, people like Patricia are taught new skills, empowered and encouraged to start life afresh. The total number of human trafficking victims is largely unknown, but the United Nations estimates that about 1 million persons are trafficked annually in Nigeria. Less than 5% are trafficked outside the country, the rest are trafficked within. It is the third most common crime in Nigeria after drug trafficking and economic fraud, and experts say the root causes are enormous.
This issue of poverty. I must mention greed among personnel and then lack of patriotism. Because we tend to equate ourselves with what the other persons are doing. And there's of course the social problem, unemployment, lack of proper education. The kind of education we have here, the type that after that is go and start looking for a job instead of employing people. And then the wars, here and there people are being displaced, thereby giving opportunity to human traffickers to go and pinch, take the people away for trading.
Nigeria's anti-trafficking body, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, says it has rescued over 15,000 victims of human trafficking and rehabilitated about half that number.
In order to see more returnees reintegrated and contribute more to the society and the economy, experts here say more of these initiatives will need to take place across the country. They say in the long run, it could help stop or reduce the burden of trafficking to the barest minimum.
And it's a challenge that requires more collaboration and partnerships.
I think the agencies in Nigeria should also relate well with the NGOs so that we can all fight this together. Human trafficking is a global issue and it should not be left to one individual or even to one government. It's an international thing, and cross-border crimes is not what one country can hold. So we need that global collaboration.
It's something the government says it's working on. NAPTIP has pledged to deepen partnership with the UN Office on Drugs and Crimes, the International Organization for Migration, and the country's security agencies to fight trafficking and rehabilitate trafficked persons like Patricia across the country.
Nigerian authorities, they are helping, of course, human trafficking victims to reintegrate into the societies. And from that report in Abuja, Nigeria, we will now take a break and come back shortly with the remainder of the story. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
The locations, the design, the materials used, all the way down to the latest details are few of many things that we focused on when we envisioned the airport residency. As proud innovators of community estates, the airport residency in Old Yundum, a project by Swami India International, offers unique gated community with 3- and 4-bedroom villas and duplexes. Just 5 minutes away from the Banjul International Airport. Luxury, convenience, and accessibility are some of the reasons you should consider this great housing opportunity. With a clubhouse, a playground, access roads, and parking facilities available for your dream home or a valuable investment, you will find all you need at Airport Residency here in Old Yundum.
Welcome back, and this is Africa TV, and once again many thanks for joining us. Now, the Gambia has on Sunday received additional doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccines from the government of the United States through the COVAX facility. This is the second shipment of vaccines from US to complement the fight against the COVID-19 in the face of the third wave of the virus. The CISA has more details of that in this report.
The arrival of over 151,200 doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccines is another significant milestone for the Gambia in its fight against the third wave of COVID-19. The vaccination program, which was launched March 2021, has now been expanded beyond the priority groups, such as patients with critical condition and the elderly. Speaking upon the arrival of the vaccines at the Banjul International Airport, the Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmad Lamin Samate, said the trend in vaccine hesitancy is changing as many are coming on board for the shots.
Mr. Ambassador, I must tell you that yes, we still have vaccine hesitancy, but it is waning off. People are understanding that these vaccines are going to help save lives. We have seen an unprecedented number of people coming to get vaccinated. Today being the 6th day, 10,239 people got vaccinated just today. This first week, we have had 53,700 plus vaccines administered for this first week.
The United States Ambassador to the Gambia, Richard Carl Pascal, described the shipments as part of President Biden's commitment to make availability of vaccines for the world. He urged Gambians to get vaccinated, emphasizing the safety and efficacy of the Johnson & Johnson vaccines.
The first is that these vaccines are safe. These vaccines have been administered to over 15 million Americans and many more millions around the world. These vaccines are effective. These vaccines have a greater than 99% effectiveness at becoming seriously ill from COVID-19.
The vaccine delivery was mobilized by the U.S. government through the COVAX partnership spearheaded by the World Health Organization. The gesture arrived in the West African nation when there is a notable increase in the cases of COVID-19 and its related deaths. The Gambia is among the first countries to receive a vaccine shipment of 36,000 doses from the COVAX initiative earlier in March this year. It is estimated that 40 countries in the African continent, relying on doses from COVAX and the Serum Institute of India, are being left behind as vaccines made in India are diverted for domestic use. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Daisy Se.
The second consignment of the Johnson & Johnson vaccines from the United States arrived in the Gambia on Sunday. Now, finally, the Algerian foreign minister has been meeting with his Egyptian counterpart in Cairo as part of his tour within the North African region. The two officials held talks on the latest escalation of political tensions in Libya and Tunisia. The Algerian diplomat also outlined plans to engage Egypt, Sudan, and Ethiopia over the Resonance Dam for a possible deal. Here's more details of that in this report.
Cairo was the fourth stop in Ramtan La'amamra's African tour. He began in Tunisia, then visited Ethiopia and Sudan before finally coming to Egypt. The top Algerian diplomat held discussions with Egyptian Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry on the latest developments in neighboring Tunisia and Libya.
Libya is seeing progress. It is witnessing significant achievements compared to all the catastrophes Libyans have gone through. We hope they can hold elections by December 24th. We wish it to be a successful election and that it would become a key for national reconciliation and for a unified Libya to regain sovereignty.
We completely trust the wisdom of the Tunisian leadership in managing the situation in order to achieve the will and aspirations of the brotherly Tunisian people. This is a domestic Tunisian issue. We must respect that and avoid interfering. We hope that all these procedures will lead to Tunisia's security and stability.
La'amamra hinted that Algeria could soon assist in ongoing mediation efforts to help Egypt, Sudan, and Ethiopia reach a fair agreement on the issue of the Grand Renaissance Dam.
Algeria is always keen not to expose our strategic African and Arab routes to any unnecessary dangers. I have listened to all the information that my colleagues in Addis Ababa, Khartoum, and Cairo. Whenever the necessary conditions and circumstances make it possible, Algeria would be part of a solution to such huge issues that affect the existence of these nations.
Lamamra's visit to Cairo highlights the importance of such cooperation in resolving regional conflicts. Egypt and Algeria are among Africa's top economies. Stability in North Africa would greatly reflect on their development.
The Algerian foreign minister, they are touring, of course, countries within the North African region in terms of maintaining peace in the region. And from the report there in Cairo, Egypt, we finally bring this news edition to an end. But for more details on this and other stories, as always, as ever, you can visit on our website on iafrica.tv. But there will be more news again at 19:30 GMT, the 7:30 local time. You can join us then if you can. But for now, many thanks for the pleasure of your company. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and bye for now.